Okay, so we're using root method to solve this problem. So I'm going to start by adding 43 to both sides of the equation, giving me 7x squared equals 77. And I'm going to divide both sides by 7, giving me that x squared equals 11. And when I take the square root of both sides, I find that I don't know the square root of 11, so I'm going to put that in my calculator. And when I take the square root of 11, I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth and get plus or minus. Anytime I take a square root, I got to have the plus or minus, 3.32. So x is either positive 3.32 or negative 3.32. For this one, I need to work from furthest away from x to closest to x. So right now, the 5 is furthest from x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5, giving me x minus 8 squared equals 3. And then the next furthest thing from x is the squared. The minus 8 is closest, so I'm going to do that last. So to undo squaring something, I take the square root of both sides. So I get x minus 8 equals, square root of 3 is again a number that I don't know, so when I put that in the calculator, I get 1.73. And that has to be plus or minus as well, because I took a square root. So I'm going to make my two equations, because either x minus 8 is positive 1.73 or x minus 8 is negative 1.73. So if I add 8 to this first equation, I get that my first answer is that x is 9.73. Or if I add 8 to both sides here, I get that x is 6.27. So those are my two answers for x. For this last one, the thing that's furthest away from x right now is actually the squared. So I need to start off by taking the square root of both sides. So I get x minus 4 over 5 is equal to, anytime I take the square root, I have to put plus or minus. So now I'm going to start by making my two equations right here, because x minus 4 over 5 is either equal to positive 6 or it's equal to negative 6. And then I'm going to solve each equation separately. So for the first one, I get that x is 34. And with the second one, when I solve for x, I'm going to get that x is negative 26. So those are my two possibilities for x.